So I want to talk about this because it is very important, you know, to find an answer to the question, are we just here to suffer? Is life just suffering? And for the most part, I think that it is. Life mostly is just suffering. But there is a caveat. There is a way by which you can, relieve yourself of this suffering to an extent, not completely, but you can do pretty well if you apply this technique or method to your own life. And this is not a boast of any kind, but I truly feel that I am a bit free. I freed myself from these tricks and these traps and these uh, deceptions of life, which enable people to suffer continuously, right? Because like everybody else, I was a victim of life and its shenanigans. But this is what happened after a lifetime of just involving myself in life, in the world, in society, just caring and offering my potential to the world, to community, to people, and to, of course, to movements, ideologies, whatever, activities, uh, and having dealings with people. Uh, this is why I suffered. Okay, uh, most of the suffering that people experience is because they do it to themselves. Okay, people hurt themselves by engaging in certain things. They know that the people they hang out with will never respect them, will never see them as an equal, but they still hang around like a lackey, hoping that they will be treated like a real friend, even though they know they will not ever be treated like a real friend. And so they suffer and they continue because this is it, the human condition. They do not want to be alone. They cannot conceive of the fact that they will be able to survive by themselves, in the darkness, in silence. And this was how I was back in the day when I was younger. I just wanted. This is how I was. I just wanted to belong. I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to be part of a group. I wanted to have friends. I wanted to be loved. Okay, that was my thing. I wanted to be loved and respected. And most of all, you see, this was how I was. I wanted people to see me as that reliable guy that you can trust. I wanted people to look at me and say, that guy. When you need something, that guy. He has your back. Okay? It doesn't matter if it's 1 in the morning. You can call that guy. That guy will help you out because he's a real one. I wanted to be that guy. I wanted people to 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 view me in that way. Whatever psychological thing that is. I wanted that from people. That affection, that attention, whatever you want to call it, because I really was a helpful guy and I wanted to help everybody, you know. And let me tell you, I did help a lot of people, but they didn't see me as that reliable guy that you can trust. They saw me as that sucker that you can use and abuse and manipulate and then throw him in the trash. That's what essentially what happened to me, and maybe that is what has happened to you. And if it has happened to you, you know that feeling when you realize that all the people that you thought were your friends, they just used you. You know that feeling, right? It's horrible. So of course, I did it to myself. I suffered because I did it to myself, because I just did not face the truth of the matter, which is that the people whose affection I wanted, those people were terrible people. And I should have dismissed them and moved on with my life, but I couldn't. Mainly because I was young and stupid. But anyway, I did it to myself. And now that I'm older, I can look back and see that stupid kid who was agonizing and beating himself up because he wasn't good enough. And, you know, all the sleepless nights, all of the torture, the mental torture, why won't they like me? Instead, I should have just kicked them to the curb and moved on with my life, because I just couldn't imagine that this was the way for me. I never thought that I would arrive at this situation. Okay? And I would say that maybe this is the message of this video. If it isn't working for you, if you keep on trying, you can't make friends. People don't seem to like you. You're never invited to any group, to any party, to any outing. People gossip about you, people use you and manipulate you. You'll never have friends. Maybe it is time for you to just call it quits and stop trying so hard to be liked by other people. Right? Listen, I know people who, just so that they will be acknowledged by the rest, they will join a conversation whose subject they do not know anything about. They will just, like, for example, let's just say 3 people are talking about whatever, and just this guy, he comes over and he just inserts himself in the conversation without any manners, and everybody's just like looking at this guy like, bro, who the fuck? Right? Because they cannot be by themselves. They have to be around people, and they have to be in the center of things. This is the big issue, right? So how I freed myself, how I became free from this, this world, all of these machinations, all of these stupid activities, right? Which I finally realized and accepted that, that I didn't really need any of this. The only reason I thought that I needed any of this was because I saw that everybody else was craving and desiring this. Popularity, friends, groups, reputation, status, wealth, whatever. I thought that this was the only way because everybody else around me was doing the same thing. Therefore, me being stupid, young, and naive, impressionable, I thought, well, this is the way to go. But there are alternatives, folks. And this is how I became an individual, how I freed myself, and how I finally enabled myself to think critically. Okay? Because before I freed myself, I wasn't thinking for myself. I was just another sheep among the lemmings. Okay? I let go of everything. I disengaged. I detached. I disconnected. I left and never returned. Okay? I stopped trying to impress anybody. I stopped trying to prove myself to anybody. For what? It was pointless, right? And this is very important because a lot of people, they just have to prove and impress other people for whatever reason, and they're miserable. They're miserable. Only when I stopped trying to prove anything and stopped trying to prove and impress anybody, that is when I gained what you might call, self-respect or dignity. Dignity is very important. And that is how I developed certain standards for myself. This is what I say. Never be a doormat for anybody unless they deserve it. Okay? Don't simp for people who don't deserve it. If the only exception is that if the people that you're simping for, they should be exceptional. Okay? That is the only the only exception to the rule. Simp for the people that deserve it. Simp for the people that have the qualities. Otherwise, it is a waste of time. Okay? This is why most people are so miserable in their lives. This is why they're so defeated, so deflated. This is why they're so depressed. They have anxiety, mental health issues. They're just they're suffering from melancholy. They are down. They're always down. They're angry. They're all of the negative things. It is because even though they're trying hard, the results never deliver. Okay, they everything that you try in life to improve upon yourself and others, to improve upon your situation, to be better, to do better, to be more friendly, to be more outgoing. You're probably an introvert and you're trying to go out there and put yourself out there, and the results are devastating every single time. Okay? And I'm not telling you to just fucking lock yourself in a bunker, but you have to understand what your nature is. If you go against your nature, you will never succeed, period. No matter how devoted you are, no matter how, passionately you pursue whatever your goal is. If you do not understand your nature as a person, you will not succeed. You will fail miserably, and then you'll be all sad, and you will, criticize yourself. Right? If you are an extreme introvert, like I am, the odds are that you will not be, the star of the party, the belle of the ball. You will not succeed, even though you might think so. Even though you've watched all sorts of motivational videos and all of these smooth talkers, you think they've bamboozled you that introverts can just be these outgoing these outgoing party animals. It isn't so, right? I was an introvert trying to be an extrovert. I was a sort of person that, I was melancholic. I was quiet. I was, a bit timid. I was a bit, I had the tendencies of a recluse, of a monk, if you would. I wasn't very sociable, nor did I have the skills, but because I just wanted to be like everybody else, I went against my nature. Even though I was prone to, quiet, silent contemplation, because even though I actually enjoyed being by myself, I still went against my nature and tried to socialize, tried to talk people up. I tried to belong. I tried to join groups. I tried to make new friends. I tried, all of the things, And let me tell you, it did not work. I failed miserably every time, and it was just so devastating to me. It was torture. It was torture. Not because I thought that there was something wrong with me. I thought that I was different in a negative way, because I looked at everybody else and they did it so easily. They were so good at it without trying. It ain't no biggie. And when it came to me, I was just struggling. I was struggling, right? Not until I accepted and admitted my nature for what it was and stepped away. Listen, very important. You have to have the dignity to step away. And I think this is something that most people do not have. You have to realize when something is past its, you know, past its climax, perhaps it is time for you to leave. I guess the perfect analogy would be, you as a guest in someone's home, you have to realize it's been 3 hours. You have to get the fuck out of here, boy. This isn't a hotel. Get the fuck out of here. You ain't got no manners, boy. It's been 5 hours, right? This is what you have to realize. You have to realize that this isn't the way for you. You do not belong here. You're not the type that is sociable. You're not the type to just engage in silly, nonsensical chit-chat, small talk. Listen, whenever people engage in small talk around me, I just want to hang myself, right? I just want to hang myself. I'm allergic to people and their silly, goofy talk about nothing. People talk about nothing. Okay? People talk about nothing in particular. But they talk all day. This is the problem. People talk all day. They make the noise. They keep on yapping. But they say nothing of substance. Nothing of substance. Okay? So, because I understood that I wasn't like everybody else, I fucked off. And this is how I attained my freedom, my liberation. Listen, before I became an absolute recluse, my life was just this pathetic repetition, this woe is me, complaining, whining, moping around, feeling sorry for myself, depressed, suicidal, why doesn't anybody love me, blah, 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 blah. When I stopped and left it all behind, all of this baggage, that was the precise moment when my life improved dramatically, 1,000%, folks. Because now I was in my element, which helped my nature, right? You take the fish out of the water, it's not gonna survive. You put the deer in the lake, it's gonna drown. You have to understand your nature. You have to understand what your element is, okay? This is very important. Listen, this is very important. Most people do not understand who and what they are. And if they suspect something of what their true, core essence is, the usual reaction is to reject it because it's different from the norm. Okay? It's because it's different from the norm, people automatically reject it and they adopt, the status quo of how to talk, how to behave, how to dress, etc. Okay? And because this goes against your nature, you will not be good at it. You will not succeed because you know you're a fraud. Okay? If you have a conscience, you know that you're a fraud, you will not be good at it. Your brain, your body, they will not let you succeed at it. Okay? You see, before I left, before I stopped, I was just so shy, so timid. I had a speech impediment. I was, mumbling all the time until I left and made this channel talking about books and whatever, philosophy, whatever, and making these types of videos. I was just this mumbling, shy buffoon. Okay? I had to leave. I had to give everything up to find who I was, And now I can talk about the subjects that really matter, that are important to me. Right? So this is how you escape the matrix, if you want, folks. In part, you have to just renounce. This is a great expression. You have to divest yourself of everything needless. You have to kill your darlings. You have to abandon what isn't for you. And until you know what isn't for you, you will just swim against the current, never making any progress, never advancing. Okay? Maybe you are the type of person that just doesn't belong with other people, like me. That's fine. Okay? But because you refuse to accept who and what you really are, you keep going back to those people who don't respect you. They don't respect you, bro. Right? Stop deluding yourself. This is key. Like, people delude themselves into believing that if they dress this way, if they talk this way, if they approach a matter this way, if they do this differently, they think that they're gonna gain something. They think that they're gonna bamboozle or flim-flam something to gain something. You're delusional. The people that don't respect you will never respect you. The people that don't love you will never love you. The people that will reject you will reject you. The people that make fun of you will make fun of you. It will continue on. Okay? Stop trying to gain the respect of people that obviously don't like you. What is this? I don't know what you might call it. This, I don't know, simp behavior almost. Doggish behavior. You know, you kick a dog and the dog still comes, comes to you. You kick it again and it still comes to you. It's pathetic. You have to have some dignity. It's not dignified. Okay? Because this is, I've seen this even in the comment section of my videos. Once in a while, somebody will comment, well, I'm this beautiful woman or this handsome man, and I'm smart and I have degrees and I have manners and I'm this and I'm that and I'm well dressed and I'm physically healthy and I'm swole and I'm elegant, and people still don't like me. The people at my work, they treat me badly. I'm always alone at work. I never get invited to a drinking party. Nobody talks to me at the bar. And I'm just like, that's great. That's great. Buddy, sweetheart, baby, playboy. That's the best thing that can happen to you. Unless you so desperately want these things for others to approach you and accept you and invite you, whatever. Unless you cannot exist without the attention and affection of others, you need to get the fuck out of there. You need to get the fuck out. What are you doing here? Get the fuck out of here. Okay? I realized that I can exist and survive and actually flourish and prosper without the attention, the care, the sympathy of others. Like I always say, the fact that I'm completely invisible, anonymous to other people is the greatest godsend blessing that could have ever happened to me. Okay, it is a blessing in disguise, unless you really need that. If you don't need that, it's time for you to hit the hills. Okay, this is how I became free. Okay, I became free from detaching people, detaching from society, divorcing the world. I'm not interested in what happens in the world. I don't care about other people and their silly opinions about nothing. Okay? I'm not interested in the news. I don't care what the fashion or the trend is. Okay? I'm not gonna discuss the goofy thing or the video or the meme that was sent to whomever. I don't care. I don't care about this video game. I don't care about this woke movie or TV show. Okay? I don't care about all of this silly, goofy nonsense. I got better things to do. Okay? Life is short, folks. Even though life is suffering, there are still good parts. Okay, everything has a positive and a negative. Uh, and it's a damn shame to not exploit the few good things that life has to offer. Okay? For me, it's sleep. Let me tell you. If I can, I sleep. I sleep for days. For days. To me, sleep is the cure. To me, sleep is medicine. Okay? I don't go around just visiting these tourist traps on the weekend just to fool myself to believing that I'm doing something important. You know, people delude themselves to believe that their silly activities are, oh boy, I'm doing shit. What are you doing? You're buying knickknacks at a tourist trap. Shut up. Right? They went to a carnival. You know, they went to, I don't know where. For what? To do what? Take a selfie? You see, people go to whatever place and they film themselves or they take a selfie. It's like that's the actual goal, not to enjoy where you are. It's to take a picture to prove that, yeah, I'm doing stuff. I'm living life, right? And then they go to a fast food and eat at McDonald's and, well, time to go to work again. 9 to 5. What is this silly nonsense? I ain't got time for this bullshit, right? So this is how you free yourself, right? All of the silly, goofy nonsense about, you know, whatever your religion is. And oh, don't you know that on this date you have to kiss your elbow 3 times and do the silly dance backwards because it's the red Sunday of the green squirrel. Just silly religious nonsense. People have to go to church and they have to do these fucking ninja signs. Kagebushi no jutsu? What is this? I don't have time for this. And people, all of these ideologies and politics, they think that politics matter, don't you know? And they have to get together with their friends. Listen, I'm rambling now. I'll go back to the subject. Listen, this is what I've observed. When I'm on the street for whatever reason, going shopping, getting my booze, whatever, I see young people. And usually they're yapping like hyenas, but they're not saying anything and they're all on their phones while yapping. It seems like they're making noise for the sake of making noise. Nobody's listening to what anybody else is saying. They are all looking at whatever thing they're looking on their phones. Nobody's really invested in any other person. They're just walking like a sheep, like a herd of sheep, you know, just like livestock. And you know what? This reminds me of how I used to be about 20 odd years ago. Me and my friends, we got together every, afternoon and we spend hours just walking around in a group like a bunch of sheep, talking about nothing, saying nothing important, just making noise. Of course, we didn't have smartphones back then. So, it was the same thing over and over. And I wasted years of my life, of my precious youth, the prime of my youth on what was expected of me, right? The status quo, the norm, and I was miserable. And I didn't know why, and from then on, I was just depressed, suicidal, miserable. I hated myself. I had all of these issues and I didn't know why. It was because I was just doing something that was against my nature. Okay? I thought that I wanted to be around people. I thought that I wanted to be loved by people. I wanted the approval of people. I wanted to belong. I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to be, among my peers and have a good time. It never happened. Every time I got together with so-called friends, it was embarrassing. It was regretful. It was just awkward. And the moment I stopped, I became my own person, so I don't need anybody. I don't need anything from anybody. I don't need anything. Okay, so this is how I freed myself from, what could have been a bad life, a very bad life, a very bad experience, right? I think, I can be mature and rational enough to tell you that if I continued on that path, I probably would have committed suicide. Probably. I wouldn't be here today because I was so miserable. I was just dead. Okay? So maybe this is how you go about freeing yourself from, the clutches of society in general. If it isn't working for you, listen, folks, listen. We're being real now. If you've tried for years, to make friends, to get a lover, to be accepted, and it never succeeded, it just isn't for you. Accept the fact that you'll never be a sociable person. Accept the fact that other people don't want you around. They don't want anything to do with you. It will be hard. It will be difficult. Maybe you'll cry for a long time, but after that, you will feel cleansed. You will feel purified. And you will walk away and never look back, and you will be happier for it. Okay? And I think this is the greatest obstacle that most people have to have a hard time facing. The great adversary, the great hurdle in life is to see things for what it is, that perhaps for whatever reason most people they just hate you. Okay, listen, there are people who just don't like you. Irrational, no reason, no motivation. They just instinctually, out of reflex, don't like you. You specifically. You might be drop dead gorgeous. You might be a hunk. You might be wealthy. You might have a chiseled jaw. You might have a nice, and people still don't want anything to do with you. That's fine. It's difficult to accept it, because you're going to assume, bro, there's something wrong with me. Do I stink? What's going on here? Right? It is what it is. Maybe it's your vibe. You emit a certain vibration that most people, they don't like. You might be beautiful and they still will reject you, maybe because you project a certain aura. Who knows? This is the greatest obstacle. To renounce society, people, and community and relationships and, being sociable at all. This is how I freed myself. This worked for me. Until the day I die, this will be my greatest achievement in life. Finally realizing that I don't belong with other people. Fuck that shit. I'm out of here. And my life has been a goddamn joyride ever since. I have never been so happy, so peaceful, so tranquil. Okay? Damn. I'm good. Right? And if I tell, your average normie NPC this, that I don't need anybody for anything, that I'm okay by myself, they're gonna assume, well, something ain't right with you, boy. That boy just ain't right. We need to stay away from that boy. He different. He weird, right? Because they cannot conceive the concept that you can live by yourself just fine indeed, right? Let me tell you a hard secret, a hard truth about most people. If you take most people, your average person, and put them in an isolated, barren, recluse area, like, I don't know, a forest somewhere or a deserted island, they're gonna lose their marbles. Okay, they're gonna go bananas. Cuckoo! I never understood stories like Robinson Crusoe and, that movie with Tom Hanks and the little volleyball. He goes bananas too because he's alone. That to me is paradise. Being alone in the forest, in the jungle, on a deserted island in Siberia, That's paradise. No people. Sign me up, take my money, shut up, let's go. We're out of here. That's paradise, right? This is how you understand that most people are weak mentally. You take them from their environment and they have nothing. They have nothing to rely upon. When faced with the harsh truth that life, nature is unforgiving, merciless, and there's nothing there but the brutality of nature, most people will shrink. Their brains won't be able to tolerate and endure the silence, the loneliness, the isolation. That to me, it sounds like a walk in the park, right? A walk in the park. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? No cars, no silly gadgets, no helicopters. Shit, only the wind and a river. Sign me up. Hundreds of miles of nothing but trees. I like that. Sounds good to me. Okay? I don't need some person next to me talking about, their silly nonsense. How they clapped cheeks and, oh boy, let me show you this video about this meme. Like, fuck out of here, boy. I ain't got time for this silly nonsense. What are you talking about? Okay? So that's pretty much it, That's pretty much it. Some people, I don't like to use this expression, but some people are built different in the sense that we prosper by ourselves. We do not need anybody. Listen, in my country, there's this cliche, the stereotype that if you are by yourself, especially if you are a widower, if you are by yourself, you're going to lose your mind. You're going to go senile because you need somebody to talk to. You need somebody to be close to you, And when I think about that cliche, I just want to vomit. Like, what kind of weak-minded do you have to be to just go crazy because nobody's there to talk to you? Like, what are you, a child? Only children need constant supervision. Okay? Like, this is one thing that I hate about this country of mine and its cliches. Like, one, there's something wrong with you if you love being alone, and secondly, if you aren't with somebody, well, you're gonna go crazy. It isn't so. I think that you have to be incredibly frail and brittle in order for this to happen. You have to be extremely fragile to crumble when you are by yourself, right? And this is the underlying theme here. It is because people want to hear themselves talk, and they like it when there are other people and they shut up so that they can be heard talking. People want to talk to other people and they don't want any feedback. They don't want any criticism. They just want people to go like this. Yep. You're the best. You're the smartest. Keep talking. We want to listen to you. This is what most people want. Because they're so devastatingly afraid of being alone. They can't handle it. Most people would subject themselves to the most atrocious, horrendous situation. They will be abused by their partners. They will be abused by strangers. They will be abused even by groups. They will subject to this abuse so that they don't have to go the alternative route and be by themselves. Do you understand what this is? Do you understand? People would rather be savaged by people than be by themselves. Because they're afraid of being by themselves, they're not so afraid of being hurt by other people. As long as there are other people around, anything goes. And I'm just like looking at that and I'm just like, that's not for me. And this is proof that most people are still enslaved Most people are still enslaved, and they are the ones who enslaved themselves. Nobody else. They are to blame. They are at fault. But that's about it. If you enjoy this content, if you want to support your boy, I got a few books of mine on Amazon. The link will be down below. Thanks for watching. Keep on thinking for yourself. See ya.